Hi everyone. Well, I'm outside here in the garage sorting out a few jobs, and I suppose, I'm, for whatever reason, recently I'm doing a lot of reflecting on stuff, and I just wanted to share a little story with you. Sometimes people ask me, where did the whole interest in the vintage room and all of that start? And I suppose, see, I'm after finding something here now that I want to show you in a minute, but back around 1993, I was 23 years old, and I had my own little garage west in Goleen, repairing cars, qualified mechanic by trade. And I had always had this gene inside me to buy and sell, and this drive and burning desire that just buying and selling and heading off on just the unknown adventure. And I wanted to do something that I suppose that very few were doing, and I had a lot of things I wanted to prove to myself. I hadn't travelled much, and I wanted to head off and just do something. So I used to get this magazine called The Exchange and Mart. It came out every week, and in this magazine would be all kinds of second-hand engineering equipment and garage equipment, building equipment and all that. And back in the early 90s, England was falling apart. The whole of England was going into liquidation. They were in the height of a huge recession. And this country was on the way up. And I got a plan to myself that I could go over to England, buy stuff really, really cheap, bring it back here and sell it. So I just, it's like everything in my life, I don't see the obstacles. If I get a notion to do something, by God, I'll just do it and move mountains if I have to. So you must remember, there was no internet. There was no mobile phones. There was nothing like that. There was telephone and there was fax. And there was the Exchange and Mart. So off into Skibbereen I went, and inside in Hurley's in Skibbereen I bought a Toyota Hiace, which happened to have been one of the old Fields, a red one, bread vans. And I bought a trade, cheap, like everything I ever try to buy that way, and with the intention of doing it up because there was a knock in the engine. But by the time I bought it, I had the ferry booked to go to England, and we decided we were going to go off knock or no knock. So all I had was, I knew that there was an auction up in Cheltenham, and myself and a friend of mine, we got on the ferry, we got a few pounds sterling together, empty van, jumped on the ferry in Rosslare and got off over in Swansea. Now, since then I've done that trip hundreds and hundreds of times. I probably know England now, or the United Kingdom, better than I know Ireland. I could drive through any city, absolutely no problem over there. But that time, it was our first time there. There was no sat navs, no GPS, no mobile phones or nothing. So the man that was with me, my friend Jerome, had a map, and we got off, and I remember we were following the traffic. We came up to the first set of traffic lights, and the light was red. And I was saying to him, where do I go? It's left or right, left or right, left or right. And we didn't have a clue, or it didn't matter, because it made no difference. And the next thing, the light went green before he could answer, and I just swept off to the left. And we were swept away with the traffic into Swansea city centre. First time ever over there, driving and all the rest. And oh my God, the excitement of it. So this was Sunday morning, very early, around 6:30, and I went into a newsagent that was open, and I just asked the man inside there, was there anywhere or anything to do on a Sunday morning in Swansea. And he directed me over to a multi-storey car park where there was a car boot sale going on. Now, back then in the early 90s, car boot sales were huge in England. I'd say they were absolutely unheard of here in Ireland. And we went over, and there was this huge market going on inside the multi-storey car park, which had spilled out all over the place, and we could not believe it. And everything was cheap as chips. And you must remember, there was no Lidl's or Aldi's or nothing. There was nobody bringing in power tools or battery drills. Were just coming on the market. And this kind of stuff wasn't available in Ireland. So I was around the car boot sale buying second-hand angle grinders and drills, electric drills, and any kind of engineering equipment I could lay my hands on. And we have filled the van that morning. Well, the excitement of the whole thing, and with everything we bought, we were saying if we bought it for £10, we could sell it for 20, and I was trying to do the maths and do the sums. and the excitement, and of course counting all my chickens before they were hatched. I thought I was after making a fortune that morning, which subsequently didn't turn out that way, because by the time we got home, half what I bought in the car would sell. When we plugged it in, it didn't work. But off-road into the van, and way up north for Cheltenham, with Jerome on the map. Took so many wrong turns, it was unbelievable. And like, I remember, we'd no money, so we were trying to sleep in the back of the van until such time as the van got too full, and then we'd be around looking for the cheapest bed and breakfast that we could find, eating in chippers. And God, it was just brilliant. Like, we couldn't afford the food and the services. We'd have to find a cheap chipper and stuff because we were on a real tight budget. But we had so much fun. I always kept a few pounds for a few pints at night. You'd have to do that. And we filled our van above in Cheltenham and came home, and that was the first trip. I was away about a full week, and I'll never forget it. It planted something in me, and it was like this. It just started this adrenaline rush in me, and ever since then I've been going back and forth. I've been doing a lot of travelling outside of the UK as well, but I've been going back and forth to the UK quite a lot, importing cars, engineering equipment, and later on antiques and quirky items and stuff. And I never ever lost that rush, or that adrenaline rush. I don't play sport. I have no interest whatsoever in sport. I was in the wrong queue whatever day that they were handing that out, and people that enjoy their soccer and all the rest of it, I wish I did. Brilliant. Does absolutely nothing for me. I'd rather watch paint dry. My rush is going to antique fairs and buying pieces and doing stuff up and making the deal and buying and selling. But I wanted to show you something here now before this story ends, because I'm going on now to nearly 7 minutes. This was, if I can zoom in on this is the date, and this is 1995 now. This was a couple of years into the whole thing. And this was, like, back in the day, like I'm saying, there was no internet, no emails, nothing like that. So all you had was a fax machine, and I would get the exchange in Mart. You'd hear about an auction. This one was in Newport. I remember that auction quite well, because we did so well. And I'll tell you about that now the next day, what we bought and what we sold there. And I made an awful lot of money out of that auction. That's why I kept that and framed it, because that was probably one of the real turning points where we were really starting to make money. And you got this faxed over. That's as much information as you got. There was no catalogue, but that gave you kind of an insight into what was there. And you went over, you paid your money, and you took your chances. And in all those auctions, you'd have to pay about £500 before you get a bidding number to separate them in from the boys. And we went, and that's what we did. And we bought, and came back. And then even trying to sell, you didn't have the internet, so everything went up on. You had the Friday ad, and you had the buy and sell, I think, was on the go at a time. But that was it. There was no done deal or anything like that. But it was really, oh my God, it was exciting times. That's kind of it for now, and I just thought I'd like to share that with somebody, and I hope that somebody listens to it. I have loads more stories as well, and they will get a little bit more interesting as we go along. But that's it for now. Talk soon.